Vrindai Hai Tulside Vyai Priyai Hai Keshavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Deve Satya Vachai Namo Namaha Vrindai Hai Tulside Vyai Priyai Hai Keshavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Deve Satya Vachai Namo Namaha Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who just like desired trees, who fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Panchakalpaturvasya Kripa Sindhu Virvacha Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Namo Namaha. Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopinana Malaba Idivadadhari Gopijana Malaba Idivadadhari Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Manachahuti Yamuna Tira Manachahuti Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Malaba Girivadadhari Gopi Jana Malaba Girivadadhari Yasodhanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Ho Radha Ho Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Ho Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Madhava Hari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopikapata Shyam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuradam Ki Jai Jagadasami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Srimati Lasadevi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bom. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, so Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Budale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachani Nivasesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatani. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 29th Chapter, Text 38. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tan Na Prasida Rijinardana Te Angri Mulam Prapta Visrija Vasatis Twad Ubusanasaha Twat Sundara Smita Nirikshana Tivra Kama Taptatmanam Purusha Bhushana Dehi Dasham Tanda Prasida Rijanardana Tengri Mulam Rijanardana Tengri Mulam Prapta Vrishija Vasatistvadupasanashaha Twat Sundarasmitana Rikshanat Tivrakama Rakama Tap Tatmanam Purusha Bhushanat Dehi Dasyang Tanna Prasida Vrijanardana Tengri Moolam Prabda Rishija Vasatis Twadupasanashaha Tvatsundarasmitani Rikshanati Taptam Manam Purushabhushana Dehi Dasham Tanna Prasida Vrijanardana Tengri Mudam Prapta Rachija Vasatis Twadupasanashaha Tvatsundarasmitani Rikshanati Vrakama Taptam Manam Purushabhushana Dehi Dasham. Okay. Alrighty. Tat, therefore. Na, to us. Prasida, please show your mercy. Vijana, of all distress. Aradhana, O vanquisher. Te, your. Ongrim hulam, feet. Traptaha, we have approached. Vashrija, renouncing. Vasatahi, our homes. Twatprasa, upasana, the worship of you. Ashaha, hoping for. Twat, your. Sundara, beautiful. Smita, smiling. Nirikshana, because of the glances. Tivra, intense. Kama, by the lust. Tapta, burned, like Tapasha. Atmanam, whose hearts. Purusha, of all men. Pushana, oh, ornament. Dehi, please grant. Dasyam, servitude. As a translation, therefore, O vanquisher of all distress, please show us mercy. To approach your lotus feet, we abandon our families and homes, and we have no desire other than to serve you. Our hearts are burning with intense desires generated by your beautiful smiling glances. O jewel among men, please make us your maidservants. You can repeat. Therefore, O vanquisher of all distress, please show us mercy. To approach your lotus feet, we abandon our families and homes. And we have no desire other than to serve you. Our hearts are burning with intense desires generated by your beautiful smiling glances. O jewel among men, please make us your maidservants. So, purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When Sri Krishna was born, the sage Garga predicted that he would manifest all the opulences of the Supreme Lord, Narayana. The gopis now appealed to the Lord to fulfill this prediction by being merciful and granting them direct service, just as Lord Narayan awards direct service to his loving devotees. The gopis emphasized that they did not give up their families and homes with the hope of securing a higher pleasure from Krishna. They are simply begging for service, revealing their pure-hearted devotion. The gopis think, if in the course of your pursuing your happiness, we sometimes or other become happy by seeing your face, what is the harm in that? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on the words, Purusha Bhushana, O jewel among men. The Thakur states that the gopis meant to say, O jewel of all males, please decorate our golden bodies with the dark blue gems of your limbs. So we're going to read some of the commentaries. So here's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Giving up your families, we desire to be your servants, like the devotees of Narayan. As you are similar to Narayan, you should be pleased with us. Now just remember the previous verse, as we're hearing this, that they're asking to become the servants, like the devotees of Narayan, not situated on the chest like Lakshmi. So there's a difference. I'm going to stop along as we're going along here. Like, actually I can comment on this. I'll comment on this as we go along. So, Om Gana Timidandasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshun Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigurve Namaha. So there's there's a lot of commentary, so I'm just going to intersperse my comments with a commentary, if that's all right. So it's interesting. Servants, of course, Lakshmi is also serving Narayan, obviously. She's not like demanding service, but being the wife of Narayan, she has certain rights. You know, like wife, there's a certain rights. Just like if someone gets a divorce, then the wife gets half the house or the dog, and the husband gets whatever he gets. Anyway, so there's certain rights that are there. But if someone's just a servant, there's basically very few rights the person has. You know, like Krishna says, or Lord Chaitanya says, you can crush me by your embrace, leave me brokenhearted before me. You're completely free to do anything and everything. That's not a wife's position. That's a servant's position. And I was just thinking about this in terms of, forgive me, here's a little American history for you. There was one president of the United States, oh my God, not modern president, don't worry. His name was Thomas Jefferson. And he had a wife, and the wife had a very nice place in his house. Is that Monticello? Okay, in Monticello. And then they were recently excavating Monticello or renovating or something like that. And they went down underneath his room, and they found that he had a relationship with a particular slave, and that, you know, that many children came from that. But she had very few rights. You know, she was a slave. And so that's really the relationship the gopis are feeling, and, you know, with Krishna. You know, please smile at us, but, you know, we're ready to do anything. We're just your servants. We understand we're not your wife like Lakshmi. We're at your lotus feet. Whereas Lakshmi resides on the chest. She also serves the lotus feet, obviously, Padasevanam. That's part of her 9 process of devotional service. She's the exemplar of that particular process of devotional service. But still, I was thinking about this when I read about Jefferson. Sorry about that. So that's their attitude. It's just service and not expecting something, but not demanding it. There's a difference. Okay, so let's continue with this. So they say, giving up our families, we desire to be your servants like the devotees of Narayan. As you were similar to Narayan, you should be pleased with us. Because, as was commented before, that Gargamuni predicted that he would have the qualities of Narayan. But then Krishna responds here. This is like a dialogue between Krishna and the gopis that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is portraying this dialogue. But you have some karma which gives suffering, the opposite of my mercy. Therefore, how can you receive my mercy? Is Narayan satisfied with everyone? And then the gopis respond, O one who destroys suffering, Rijanardana. Take away our suffering. It is well known in the scriptures that Narayan must take away the suffering of those who take shelter of him. We are taking shelter of your feet without any other desire, giving up our houses. In other words, you know, it's your business to take away the karma. So, therefore, that's your mercy. You're like Narayan. They're making this argument based upon what Gargamuni said. It's a very interesting exchange. Based upon what Gargamuni said, you know, they're quoting Gargamuni at this particular point. You're like Narayan, so you got to act like that. And then Krishna responds, oh yes, you have given up the happiness of family life but certainly who have expectation of getting some bliss from me. I can understand that. So Krishna is saying, you're coming to me for some happiness. You think this is going to be a superior bliss? Of course, we understand the service of Krishna is superior bliss. Rasa Varjam Rasap Yasha Param Drishyati Vartate. I mean, that's what Bhagavad Gita says. You get a higher taste. But what is that higher taste? The higher taste is actually the love. The ability, the love, which is actually very much connected and cannot be separated from servitude. Because the love in this world is based upon being served. I love you because of what you do for me. It's based on me. Whereas real love is based on, what do they say? What did Kennedy say using parallel construction? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. That's called parallel construction, little grammatical lessons today. So so Krishna is accusing them. You're just, I'm so attractive. He's basically, I'm reading between the lines. I'm so attractive. You're trying to get some happiness from me. You like my flute playing. Like people go to see a musician, not because they really love the musician, but they love what the musician does for them. It turns me on. I really like that music. They couldn't care less about the person. They're infatuated, but they couldn't care less. So Krishna's accusing the gopis of this. That you're, infatuated, you want to enjoy, but this is just sense gratification. And the gopis respond, and they actually respond to Krishna's statement here. Our aspiration is simply to worship you, Twad Upasanasa. Not to get happiness through worshiping you. This is really an important statement. Not to get happiness through worshiping you. And that aspiration the gopis have, let me refer back to one of the verses one of the words in the verse. Their aspiration is not simply, we'd like it, but it's tivra. Tivra is used sometimes in regard to our devotional service, tivrena bhakti yogeni yajeta purusham param, which is actually the requirement to become Krishna conscious. Tivra means like forceful, intense. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha. If you want to achieve Krishna, your devotional service has to be intense. Forceful. I'm not talking about passionate, like someone's like, oh, he's really intense. Scary. But just like, I gotta have Krishna. I must have Krishna. Krishna, help me. Like Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, which is one of my favorite verses. Oh, son of Maharaj Nanda. Tanuja. Nanda Tanuja. Kinkaram. Kinkaram means the same thing as mentioned here, isn't it? I'm a servant. Patita mam vishame bhavambodo. Actually, the real translation is that I've fallen down in this horrible ocean of birth and death. And the gopis are actually thinking this in relationship to their family. Now, don't imitate this, please. Don't think, this horrible ocean of birth, this family life like that. What? Yeah, it's a deep, dark well. That, the reason the deep, dark well is given is that when you fall in a deep, dark well, you can cry out and no one hears you. That's the example. But anyway, obviously a Krishna conscious family is very nice, where you have nice little devotee children, devotee wife, devotee husband. So this is not the point. But their devotional service was so intense tivra, that they had no choice. It's like, another example is like the iron filings being pulled by a magnet. It's just like, you have no choice. It's like falling off a cliff. I mean, you can't just jump back up again. It's like Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta. So if one wants to achieve Krishna consciousness, then one has to perform their devotional service with that mood of Tivra Bhakti. Ayananda Tanuja Kingaram Patita Mam Vishame Babambulu. Kripeya, same thing. Same thing. Actually, that verse is very similar to what's going on here in this particular verse and purport. Kripeya Tava Pada Pankaja. Isn't it? The feet again. Pada Pankaja. Stita Duli Sadra Samvachintiya. Even as a speck of dust. Actually, really, this verse of the Shikshashta is practically a parallel verse with, what we're reading here. Fix me as one of the atoms, the specks of dust again at your lotus feet. Little tiny speck. So a speck doesn't get much attention. Just like we were talking about attention yesterday. And, please pay attention. Just like sometimes you get dust on your feet or something like that. You just usually it's get rid of it. But it doesn't draw so much attention. You don't keep it around and look at it, put it on the mantelpiece. It's just, whatever, You can pay me attention or not pay me attention. But the gopis' attitude is to give Krishna pleasure. And of course, obviously, let's look at us once like that. But their whole attitude is to give Krishna pleasure. And specifically, many of the gopis, we were having a little discussion about this yesterday, many of the gopis, well, at least the Manjari gopis are actually thinking of bringing Krishna with, and many of the gopis are thinking, not just the Manjaris, are thinking of just bringing Krishna with Radharani. They're not even thinking, let Krishna glance at me at all. They're just thinking, I want Radharani, Krishna to glance at Radharani. There's different moods. I mean, there's different gopis. Some of them are like this, being described here, and many of them are just like, I just want Krishna to look at Radharani and Radharani to look at Krishna. That's all I really want. So anyway, there's different moods amongst the gopis. They're not all one. So anyway, our aspiration, I'm going to continue. We can go on with this purport forever. Is simply to worship you, twad upasanasa, not to get happiness through worshiping you. In other words, I'm doing my devotional service not because it gives me happiness. Of course, in the beginning, chatur vida bhajanti mam. That's all right. Don't feel guilty. You're not on the level of the gopis. I'm going to Mangalarti because I like it. I'm doing this because I like it. I'm giving class because I like everybody to look at me. So, not really. But, we're doing it. It's not unmotivated. Ahoitukiya pratyata yatma supersedate. Right now, our devotional service in general is not unmotivated, and it's not undeterred in all circumstances. But the gopis' devotional service is unmotivated by any personal considerations, just the pleasure of their beloved, and it's never stopped by any material condition. That's pure devotional service. Savai pum sampara dharma yata bhakti ahoksache haitukiya pratyata. Ahetu means no cause, material cause, other than the pleasure of Krishna. Apratyata means it's not deterred or stopped under any condition. Then the gopis say, in worship we hope to please you, but there is no fault if by seeing your face we get some sudden happiness. It's not a fault. I mean, if Krishna gives you happiness, whatever, that's what he wants. But if Krishna crushes me by his embrace, leaves me broken-hearted, he's free to do whatever he wants. Whatever Krishna does is fine. If you don't have any fault, here, and now Krishna responds, this is really interesting. If you don't have any fault, then are you not improperly requesting me to extinguish the fire of your desire? In other words, you're thinking I'm the instrument to take care of your desire, to extinguish your desire. Because in this material world, referring to the material world, our desires are in imbalance. In other words, we're hungry. And so as soon as we eat, the hunger gets extinguished, and we don't have a desire to eat anymore. But the point is about the gopis' desire, it never gets extinguished. Krishna here is saying, you're requesting me to extinguish the fire of your desire, but the gopis' fire of desire can never get extinguished. The desire can be fulfilled, but their desire continues and increases in intensity because their desire is to please Krishna. That's love. Like Prabhupada would talk about, I believe it's in the Krishna book, where he talks about how we want to have our loving, express our love in an unlimited way and go on unlimitedly. And Prabhupada talk about shining a light in a box. It just goes on for a short period, a short distance. But you want the light to go out unlimitedly. And so there's no question of extinguishing desire. In the material world, yes, we eat, it's extinguished. Right? We want a nice car, we get the car, it's extinguished. It's extinguished. And then we want another car with a new color, right? Urbala understands this particular reference. You got one wife, and then we got another wife. Anyway, so, of course, Avritam Gata Maintain a Gani no Nityavarna, but for some time it gets extinguished. This is Bhoga Tyaga business. And the gopis respond, this is not improper, it's the truth. You are the cause of the fire blazing. Our souls burn with intense desire, generated from your beautiful glance. To remove that fault, you simply give us the position of servants, not as wives. Here's that same point here. We want to be servants, not as wives. So Balabhacharya, it's interesting. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is quoting Balabhacharya. Comments on this as follows. They pray for the position of servants, not wives, because that position does not require Krishna. This is so interesting. To have Upanayana Samskara, which is, Upanayana Samskara is this, the Brahman thread here. And during the marriage, that's part of the ceremony for the Vaishyas, for the Kshatriyas, and the Brahmanas. And they just want a simple relationship with Krishna. Whether we are unmarried or unmarried, doesn't matter. So it's a mistake here. Whether we are married or unmarried does not matter, for both types can be your servants. Sanatana Goswami says in his commentary that service to the husband of married life does not give as much happiness as service as a paramour lover. Please do not take that and apply it in your lives now. Because there's much more, it's unalloyed in that case. It's not like we described before. You're not getting anything for it. That is also well known from Bhagavatamrita. Therefore, being servant is more desirable. Therefore, in this verse, they pray, let us be servants. Because there is a great ocean of desire, the worship of you, the playboy, should be in our own limbs. That will bring you satisfaction. In other words, it's not that their own limbs, like in the material relationship, your own gonads, whatever, are just like hankering to be extinguished, but they're just hankering to please Krishna using their limbs. So try not to project your own material conceptions. Our prayer to extinguish the fire of desire is a prayer to worship you. And our fire of desire is the chief instrument of that worship. Therefore, they address Krishna suitably as an ornament in the form of a man. You are the sapphire ornament on our golden bodies. Excuse me. So I think we'll read Jiva Goswami's commentary too, because these commentaries are really amazing. The third group of gopis express themselves because of the previous stated reasons. Show mercy to us. Make us your servants. You are impassioned because of youth. Servitude is most rare. How can I grant that? That's Krishna speaking. They reply in misery, we have come here giving up everything. You must fulfill the desires of those who surrender to you. Otherwise, we will be filled with great sorrow. And the sorrow is not because their senses won't get satisfied. The material senses, they don't have material senses. But their sorrow is because we can't please you. We want to please you. You should not do that. Oh, deliver from suffering. Vijanardana. With our hearts moved by love, they say, O topmost taster, give us servitude filled with rus, the taste. Don't have much time. Or make us servants, since we are suffering from your glance. They indicate that they have given up hope of relief from the pain. You make us your servants, since you are the best among men. We have given up houses where there is no worship of you. Twad upasa nashaha. It's like hell, where there's no worship of Krishna. Or, O Krishna, with beautiful smiling glance, you speak with cunning. They hint by clever words the feelings hidden within. Krishna, we are suffering from intense passion caused by you. This is an answer to verse 25. Women who desire a good destination in the next life should never abandon a husband who has not fallen from his religious standards, even if he is obnoxious, unfortunate, old, inactive, sickly, or poor. For those afflicted by your smiling glance, what fault is there in giving up husbands? There are no choices for those who are being devoured by a huge snake. You know, it's just like they can't stand anything else other than serving Krishna. And the same thing about tivra, intense. That's a key word of this verse, tivra bhakti, or tivra. Just intense, like absolute. Anyway, there's so much in these different commentaries. Indifference is expressed as follows. Therefore, be merciful and give up your inclination for us, O afflictor of those who suffer, Vijanardana. We give up worshiping. We will not give up our houses and take to your feet. You should make those who are burning from your smiling glance your servants and not us. What use do we, so these are conflicting emotions. What use do we have for him, since he does not really accept those who are burning with desire? This is indicated by the genitive case in tivra kama tapta manam. Just like a genitive actually means when you have a noun or a pronoun, and there's either a sense of possession from them or some description based. Usually in English, they add an S at the end. Like Krishna's horse. That would be genitive like that. Oh my God. I don't even have time to describe all these things. There's so much going on here in this verse. It's amazing. Anyway, let me finish this. You enthusiastically decorate your male friends in women's clothing, but not the women. This shows the impossibility of responding to anyone. Or Purusha Bhushana, Purusha Bhu, and Ushana can mean one who afflicts ordinary people. They address him in anger. In other words, there's actually a mood of anger because you're not letting us serve you. So that's one of the, of course, indirect rasas there. Anyway, there's so much going on. It's hard to really describe everything. It's impossible. Jai Shri Shri Radhagolokananda Ki Jai. Govind. Whoops. Govindam.
Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Venam Kanantam Aravindalayakasham Marhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaram Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham
Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Jaganti Ananda Jinmaya Sadhu Jala Vidrasa Govinda Jai Radha Golokananda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam 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 Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Namam Isharam Satchet Anandurupam Lasat Kunnalam Gokule Rajamanam Yasodaviyo Lukanannavamanam Param Ristam Achantatu Rujagobhya. Rudandamur Netra Yugambrachandam Kadambojukjung Mena Satanganetram. Jayumena Satanganedam Mukusat Sakambati Rekangakanta Sita Gripam Damodaram Bhakti Badam. He did treat Leela Bear Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam. Tadiyeshitageshu Bhaktaridjatvam Punaprematastam Shata Vritivande. Moksham na mokshavatimba na chanyun brene amba reshadapiya. Idam te papurnakta gopalabalam sadame manasya virastam kimanyae. Idam te mukam bojam machanta niraya ritam kuntalai snigdha raktaisya gopya. Chumitam Bimba Raktadarambe Manasyavirastamalam Lakshalamai. Idam te mukam bojam atantani lai ritam kuntalai snegdaratai shagobya. Mokos chumidam bimba raktadaramay manasya vivrastamalam lakshalabay. Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Praseda Prabhuduka Jalabdi Magnam. Kripa Justiris Tati Tinamatano Grahanesham Hamagyam Ed Yakshirasha. Kuveratmajo Vata Mujaiva Yadvat Twayamakchitao Bhakti Vajo Kritoja. Tata Prema Bhaktim Swatame Priyasha Namo Shri Guru Mesti Damodareha. Namaste Sudamne Spuratitidamne Twadi Ottarayata Vishvasadamne. Namo Radhe Kaya Itra Tiya Priyaya Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhigaya Diya Priyaya Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhigaya Diya Priyaya Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhigaya Diya Priyaya Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nisharam Satchet Anandarupam Lasat Kunalam Gokule Rajamanam Namo Nisharam Satchet Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Rajamanam Yasoda mio Lokalan Davamanam Param Richdamat Yandado Durchakovya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodaran Damodaran Jaya Radha looking on the run, looking on the run. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Shri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahansa Paravatikacharya also Tada Sitashi Shimad. His Divine Grace Abhaya Chalananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Gijai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturadam Ki Jai Jagadanda Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premadanda Hari Hari Gaur. All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Mera Bhaktivedanta Swami stays us with everything, says with everybody. To the Supreme Controller who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and his mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes. He shivered in fright, and his pearl necklace shook. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, who is bound by his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who were attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give me all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. More can I describe than this. Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me, uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes. Lord Damodar ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Darpana Marjanam. Rapanam. Shreya Karam. Gavidaranam. Svadanam. Sarvatmasnapanam. Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Nam Nam Akari Bhavana Dija Sarva Shaktish Trapita Nimatasmananena